Guys, I have a really good one today. It's going to be a sci-fi movie review. It's called Monolith from 2013, starring Lily Sullivan. This is an Australian indie film, and it centers around a disgraced journalist who is trying to salvage her career. Basically, somebody she interviewed as a witness who she was trying to link to this crime. He was like a socialite, so like a very powerful person who was most likely involved in white collar crimes, allegedly. So basically, what happened is she wasn't able to verify things independently. And because of that, the news company had to let her go. But anyway, she starts this podcast about strange phenomenon and things like that, and she's wanting to get back into the journalism thing, in order to kind of like give herself some more credibility, right? So one day she gets this call, and by the way, this podcast is like all done at her home. So she gets this call from this lady, and she describes a this strange brick, like a just like a dark black brick that she receives, and she asks her how she got it, and she can't explain how, but she just notices, well, she recounts strange things happening when she gets this brick. And there are a couple other callers who actually, they kind of recount the same thing, this strange brick that they get that they don't know how they got. And strange things start to happen. People around them get sick or they lose their appetite, once these bricks show up. So, she starts kind of piecing things together from these different people from around the world who have received these strange bricks. And, eventually she's actually able to get a kind of not like the brick itself, but she's able to actually get like a photograph of one of these bricks. It's actually like a 3D. If you want to think about like a 3D scan or like a 3D printer or 3D imaging, she gets one of those 3D images, and she's able to contact a linguistics expert, and he's not able to actually figure out like what these symbols and what this language is. He can't tell if it's an old like Sumerian or even, I think he says it's not hieroglyphics, but he can't really tell what it is. He doesn't know if it's from Earth or if it's from somewhere else. But basically, he's able to deduce that, okay, while these bricks do have a very common language across, these three bricks, each brick has its own unique language that is specific to that specific brick, right? Where, yes, they all have a common language, but it's almost like there's like a language, but certain languages have specific dialects. I guess you could think of it in that way, where like it's a common language, but there's certain dialects. I guess that's the best analogy I could use. So you have these three bricks, which are these just mysterious, they seemingly appear out of nowhere, and they're trying to figure out like what these things are. And there is another scene that is very eerie because somebody sends her this file, this video file. It's on like a thumb drive, and she plugs it into her laptop, and there is like, it's one of her birthday parties where she's like a 9-year-old kid or something. And what's really, just like I said, is very ominous, but she is mentioning these bricks, in this video from like 20, 30 years ago when she was a young kid. So that was definitely something that was very, very uneasy. Makes you really uneasy when you're watching it, because we think, okay, this is something new that she's just found out about. But in the video, when she's a kid from 30 years ago, she's mentioning this black brick. Um so the paper that there was shredded paper that was in the box with the thumb drive, and she's able to kind of line all the paper up. And once she does that, she sees this symbol, and it's like this reoccurring symbol. And it's very, I guess you could say it's a very disturbing to her that she keeps seeing this symbol. And she realizes that when she was a kid, whoever sent her this thumb drive that it's like she was talking about it even back then, even though she seemingly only just found out about it. So this film is really interesting. I'm not going to get too much into the plot and the story, but it's definitely like a mystery sci-fi thriller in a way. There is some sci-fi elements to it, and it's not really that much sci-fi, honestly. I'd say it's more mystery than it is sci-fi. But overall, this is a good film. There is not any aliens, there's no creatures, there's no monsters, there's none of that stuff. It's just a kind of like a sci-fi thriller detective film. So I think you will like this film if you're into more indie and more kind of the I guess kind of more of the detective films where they're unraveling this mystery. I really liked this film. They, if you don't like films that you don't get the answer to, like at the end of the movie, like you're kind of left with some questions still. If you don't like films like that, you won't like this film. But personally, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I would give this film probably a 9 out of 10. It's definitely something you should check out if you're into mystery, sci fi, thriller films.